The rain fell relentlessly, creating a rhythmic symphony on the roof of Oliver's car as he drove through the winding roads that cut through the dense woods. The invitation had arrived mysteriously in his mailbox earlier that day. A simple black envelope with his name elegantly scripted in silver. Intrigued and unable to resist the allure of a mysterious journey, he found himself on this desolate road in the dead of night. The headlights of his car cut through the darkness, revealing towering trees that seemed to whisper ancient secrets to one another. The air inside the vehicle was thick with anticipation as Oliver gripped the steering wheel. The invitation contained only a date, time, and coordinates leading to a remote mansion nestled deep within the forest. The rain intensified, making it difficult for Oliver to see more than a few feet ahead. Doubt crept into his mind as he questioned the sanity of following an invitation with no return address to a secluded mansion in the middle of nowhere. But a nagging curiosity, a thirst for the unknown, drove him forward. Finally, after what felt like hours of navigating the treacherous roads, he arrived at the address. The mansion stood like a silent sentinel, its windows reflecting the dim glow of Oliver's headlights. As he stepped out of the car and approached the entrance, the heavy wooden door creaked open, seemingly of its own accord, inviting him into the abyss within. The grand foyer of the mansion echoed with each step Oliver took as he entered. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the ornate wallpaper, giving the impression of unseen figures lurking in the corners. The air was heavy with the scent of aged wood and dampness, as if the mansion itself exhaled the history it held within. As Oliver ventured further, he discovered a dimly lit dining room where an opulent feast awaited him. The table was adorned with silverware that gleamed like the eyes of a watchful predator. A single chair at the head of the table seemed to beckon him to partake in this unsettling banquet. Just as Oliver hesitated, contemplating his next move, a voice echoed through the halls, sending shivers down his spine. "Welcome, Oliver. We've been expecting you," the voice whispered, and the shadows seemed to dance in response. A figure emerged from the darkness, dressed in a suit that seemed to absorb the feeble light around it. The host, a mysterious and faceless entity, led Oliver to the head of the table and gestured for him to sit. The dinner began, the silence punctuated only by the clinking of cutlery against porcelain. The host spoke in riddles, revealing bits of Oliver's past that sent a chill down his spine. How could this stranger know so much? As the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere in the room shifted. The candles flickered wildly, casting grotesque shadows that seemed to mock the very essence of reality. Oliver felt a growing unease as the room plunged into darkness for a split second, and when the lights returned, the guests had multiplied, each face a distorted mask of the familiar. The night wore on, and Oliver found himself entangled in a web of unsettling conversations. The guests, with hollow eyes that seemed to reflect the void, spoke of forgotten sins and buried regrets. The mansion itself appeared to come alive, its walls whispering secrets that only Oliver could hear. As he moved through the labyrinthine corridors, the architecture seemed to distort, creating a disorienting maze that led him deeper into the heart of the mansion. Each room he entered held fragments of his past, scenes he longed to forget but were now brought vividly to life. The clock struck 3 a.m., and the mansion pulsated with an otherworldly energy. Oliver's surroundings blurred as he struggled to maintain his grasp on reality. The guests became spectral entities, their voices blending into an indistinct cacophony that reverberated through the very foundation of the house. Haunted by the revelations and shadows of his past, Oliver faced a choice: confront the phantoms that lurked in the mansion's depths, or succumb to the abyss that threatened to consume him. The winding roads that brought him here seemed like a distant memory as he navigated the surreal nightmare that unfolded within the mansion's walls. Would Oliver unravel the mysteries that bound him to this eerie gathering, or would he become a permanent resident in the mansion's gallery of lost souls? The night held its breath as he descended further into the abyss, his fate entwined with the shadows that danced in the dimly lit corridors. It was a chilly autumn night when James found himself sitting alone in the dimly lit train station, awaiting the arrival of the midnight train. The platform was eerily silent, with only the distant echoes of his footsteps resonating through the empty space. James, a weary traveler, was on a journey to visit his ailing grandmother in a secluded town. Little did he know that this night would unfold a series of mysterious events that would challenge his perception of reality. As the train pulled into the station, James hesitated for a moment, a sense of foreboding washing over him. Ignoring his uneasy feelings, he boarded the nearly empty train, choosing a compartment at the far end. The soft hum of the engine and rhythmic clatter of the wheels against the tracks provided a strange comfort as the train ventured into the darkness. Seated by the window, James stared into the inky blackness outside. The landscape seemed to disappear into an abyss, and the occasional flickering of distant lights only added to the eeriness. As the train continued its journey, a whisper of unease lingered in the air, and James couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Hours passed, and James was lulled into a restless half-sleep by the monotonous sounds of the train. Suddenly, he was jolted awake by the creaking of the compartment door. To his surprise, a mysterious figure entered, their face obscured by the shadows. The stranger, dressed in tattered clothing, moved silently towards the opposite seat. James couldn't discern any facial features, only the glint of two piercing eyes. Unsettled, he attempted to engage in conversation, but the stranger remained silent, staring out of the window into the abyss. As the train delved deeper into the night, the mysterious passengers seemed to vanish into thin air whenever James glanced away. The air grew colder, and an inexplicable feeling of dread settled in the compartment. Unnerved, James decided to explore the train, hoping to shake off the unsettling encounter. As James wandered through the narrow corridors of the train, he noticed an odd pattern. The other compartments were empty, devoid of any signs of life. The rhythmic clatter of the wheels became an ominous symphony, heightening the sense of isolation. Returning to his compartment, James found it empty. Panic set in as he realized he was now truly alone in the moving abyss. The train seemed to have transcended the boundaries of reality, carrying him to an unknown destination. Desperation gripped James as he navigated the desolate train, searching for answers. Shadows danced along the empty seats, playing tricks on his mind. The enigmatic passenger reappeared, the two piercing eyes now accompanied by a haunting smile. "Welcome, James," the stranger whispered, sending shivers down his spine. "You're on a journey beyond the realms of the living." The train hurtled through an otherworldly landscape, and James, trapped in this nightmarish reality, had no choice but to confront the enigma surrounding him. The truth awaited, veiled in the darkness of the endless night. The night was dark, and the air hung heavy with an unsettling stillness. Rick, a weary traveler, stood on the dimly lit platform, waiting for the late-night train to take him to his destination. The station was deserted, and an eerie silence enveloped the surroundings. As the distant whistle echoed through the empty halls, Rick boarded the nearly empty train. The compartments were dimly lit, and the rhythmic clatter of the wheels against the tracks created a haunting melody. Rick found an empty seat near the rear of the train, settling into the worn upholstery. As the train began its journey, the soft hum of the engine merged with the clickety-clack of the wheels, creating an unsettling lullaby. The windows framed the darkness outside, occasionally revealing glimpses of desolate landscapes and abandoned structures. Rick, with a sense of unease, peered out into the void. The shadows danced along the edges of his imagination, and a chill ran down his spine as he questioned the wisdom of this late-night journey. Hours passed, and the train ventured deeper into the heart of the night. Rick's weariness was overtaken by a growing restlessness, fueled by the mysterious atmosphere that clung to the compartments like a shroud. The occasional flickering of the overhead lights added to the disquiet, casting eerie shadows that seemed to have a life of their own. In the solitude of the compartment, Rick's attention was drawn to the sound of footsteps approaching. He turned to see a shadowy figure slowly making their way down the narrow aisle. The stranger's face was obscured by the dim light, leaving Rick to wonder about their identity. The mysterious passenger stopped, hesitating before the empty seat opposite Rick. With a nod, Rick invited them to sit. The stranger's presence added to the tension in the air, and an unspoken understanding passed between them. Both travelers were on this late-night train for reasons yet to be revealed. As the train continued its journey, the two engaged in a cautious conversation. The stranger spoke in cryptic phrases, hinting at a shared destination veiled in secrecy. Rick felt a growing sense of curiosity and trepidation, unsure whether the stranger was a companion or a harbinger of the unknown. The conversation took an unsettling turn when the stranger, with an enigmatic smile, mentioned peculiar details about Rick's past. Personal anecdotes and memories were laid bare, leaving Rick bewildered and unnerved. How could this stranger possess such intimate knowledge? As the train hurtled through the night, Rick grappled with a sense of foreboding. The mysterious passenger, seemingly a phantom from his past, held the key to a dark secret. The compartment became a confessional, and Rick found himself entangled in a web of intrigue that stretched far beyond the confines of the train. The train approached its final destination, the station emerging like a specter in the distance. The mysterious passenger, having shared their unsettling revelations, rose from their seat, leaving Rick to contemplate the enigma that had unfolded during the night. Rick, now alone in the compartment, felt a mixture of relief and trepidation. The train's brakes screeched as it slowed to a halt, and the doors slid open with a mechanical hiss. The station's platform, bathed in the cold light of dawn, awaited Rick like the threshold between reality and the unknown. As he stepped onto the platform, Rick was met by an unexpected sight. Familiar faces from his past, faces he thought he had left behind, appeared in the crowd. Each person carried an air of mystery, as if they held fragments of a puzzle Rick had yet to piece together. The air was thick with anticipation as Rick navigated through the sea of familiar strangers. Each encounter unearthed forgotten memories and buried secrets. The station, once a mere backdrop, now became a stage for the unraveling of Rick's past. In the midst of the reunion, the mysterious passenger reappeared, their presence a constant reminder of the intricate tapestry connecting Rick to this nightmarish journey. The stranger revealed their true identity, a harbinger of fate, orchestrating this nocturnal odyssey to force Rick to confront the skeletons in his closet. As the sun cast long shadows across the station, Rick stood at the crossroads of revelation and redemption. The train, now a symbol of a nightmarish odyssey, awaited its next passenger, ready to embark on another journey into the depths of the unknown.